We now know that one Capitol Police officer is on life support. This after the rioting that took place in our nation's capital yesterday. And it's reported that several others have been injured. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Shari Armstrong in for Jane Monreal.
I'm Patrick Nolan. The chief of the Capitol Police is resigning, and a lot of people have been looking at this footage of how so many of those officers essentially let the rioters, most of whom appeared to be white, advance. Fox 4's ALLEYNE asking a law enforcement official for his take.
Let's start with the fact that they were not prepared.
Unprepared and slow to act. Those are some of the main criticisms coming down on Capitol Police after yesterday's riot in D.C. Some say the police were not ready for the protesters and wonder how that's possible. We asked Florida Gulf Coast University professor and former police officer Dave Thomas.
They underestimated what was going to transpire.
Thomas says on top of that, a glaring difference was seen in how Wednesday's crowds were treated as opposed to how Capitol Police responded to demonstrators marching for racial justice last summer.
Why was there one standard for black folks, for Black Lives Matter, and why was there another standard for white folks?
So not only were they slow to move, they were actually quite gracious.
One of the lead organizers for several peaceful protests in Lee County last summer, CHANTEL RHODES, believes the racial makeup of those crowds impacted how they were treated.
Had that been a Black Lives Matter protest, the turnout would have been quite different.
There have also been concerns that police were slow to respond because some may have agreed with rioters at the Capitol. Thomas says it's possible, but adds that officers aren't supposed to act on their personal beliefs.
They don't have an opinion. Cops don't have opinions. They don't have a side. And if you think about it, the entire job of law enforcement is to be neutral.
Another local community activist says she witnessed Capitol Police out in full force during a racial justice rally in D.C. last year. And she says she was angered to see their response Wednesday.
I was shocked. I was mortified. But I was also not surprised.
I asked her and Rhodes how the country moves forward from what we all witnessed on January 6th. And this is what they had to say.
Love is the answer to this. That's it. Love is the answer. And that's where it has to start. But then we move to policy and we begin to shape policy so that it is a government by the people. For the people.
My message to anyone is to continue to show up, raise your voices, raise your concerns, continue to occupy spaces and advocate for what's right.
And the heat on Capitol Hill for Wednesday's response to protesters is also causing some fallout. The New York Times is reporting that the sergeant in arms for the House of Representatives is planning to step down, and there are now calls for his counterpart in the Senate to do the same. The Associated Press is also reporting that the Capitol Police Chief is also planning to resign. In Cape Coral, Rochelle, ALLEYNE, Fox 4.